Welcome back everyone. Today is Friday, March 21st, 2025, and my name is Perry. If you're new around here, this is the Scow Bow Mini-Cruiser sailboat that I'm building. It is constructed of PVC foam core between fiberglass skins. This is the foam sandwich construction method. Basically, my mission here is to build a strong, trailerable, 14-foot sailboat that's watertight and custom built to cross oceans. Now in this video, I'm going to begin work on the first steps of building my Windvane self-steering system, along with a few other projects. And if you watched really old videos, you may have heard me talking about building a trim tab steering system, but I decided to move away from using the trim tab to the simpler, just control lines directly controlling the tiller. That's because I saw other boats that are doing that successfully, and it eliminates a lot of steps. I like simpler, so we're gonna go that way. The way this system works is that you have a balanced air paddle. Once you set the course by dropping a pin through two discs, one disc that rotates with the air paddle and another disc that holds the control lines that lead to the tiller, that sets the course. And then if you stray off the course, the wind pushes on the air paddle, which turns those discs and pulls on one of the control lines, making a correcting motion on the tiller. Very simple. Now you may notice I've got a new t-shirt on. This is my new mascot. This little guy is a giant isopod. Resilient and adaptable, they live deep on the seafloor and are known for their ability to survive in extreme environments. They have a tough exoskeleton, just like my boat's tough foam and fiberglass hull. And also from overhead, their rounded shape reminds me of my scow bow. So this guy will go on the side of my boat. I think it makes a cool little mascot. If you can think of a name for him or her, then suggest it in the comments. I'm still open to ideas on naming it. And if you like the t-shirts, they're available down in the description. It's got the mascot on the front with ocean-capable small sailboat, and on the back, there's a line drawing of the boat. So I really like this new design. I hope you like it too. Oh, and if you are new around here, please do make sure you subscribe. We're creeping up on 13,000 subscribers now. But all right, let's get to work. All right, I got some supplies for this project. So this will make the shaft housing for the Windvane shaft. And the Windvane shaft will be made from this rake handle I got from Home Depot. So that's 1.25" PVC. And then this 2-inch PVC will be the shaft housing for this piece of pipe, which is 1.5 inch. And this PVC pipe will be the anchor light tower, which will hold the anchor light, a radar reflector, and a pole for flag, which is just going to be this kind of a driveway marker fiberglass pole, but should be perfect to hold my flag. All right, I need to cut both these housings to 140 millimeters. All right, for the anchor light tower, my dad bought me this radar reflector tube. If you're not familiar, this is supposed to give your boat a better radar signature so other ships can see you easier. We want this about 2 inches or 50 millimeters from the top. It's 600 millimeters, then another 50 millimeters to the housing. The housing is 140 millimeters, so that gets us to here. I think that'll be a good height. And then I'll make a little base for the anchor light to sit on the top. And this is the anchor light. One of my viewers got me off the Amazon wish list. So that's got to go on top of here, and I need to build some kind of base with housing on it, maybe about this long. So I'm fabricating a piece of G10 right now. This will be the anchor light base, and then the housing for the flagpole will go through about 1 inch. And the anchor light tower needs to attach right about here. All right, I need to cut out 2 sets of brackets from G10. One set is for the shaft on the Windvane, and one set is for the anchor light tower. Now I've made a rope lashing as a stopper So the anchor light tower will go into the housing, and this will stop it from sliding down further. Thought about using a bolt, but I think I drilled a hole and put line through with a stopper knot and a lashing. That'll be better, lighter, and no need to use metal. Alright, I wanted to show you guys some improvements I made to my trailer. One was adding this beaching wheel, which allows me to roll the trailer down the ramp without getting the back of the car wet using a strap. And that'll let it roll down the ramp easier. And also the winch post here I had to raise 19 inches along with all the bunks. That way I could attach the steel keels and they would have clearance against the bottom frame of the trailer there. And this work was done as a favor to me by a mechanic I know named Bill. He usually rebuilds race car engines, but luckily he helped me out with this. And he did some nice welding here and also repacked all the trailer wheel bearings. Alright, I've got my buoyancy arch up against the wall here in position. This next part's a little tricky because the shaft housings need to be perfectly vertical. And the aft deck of the boat is about 1.5 degrees compared to sea level. And the aft deck combings are 7 degrees compared to the sea level. So I've replicated 7 degrees here on both of the bases of the buoyancy arch. And then if I use my level on these housings when I put them in position, I can try and hot glue them perfectly perpendicular to level. And I think what I'll do is I'll cut out about 1/2 inch of material so they can sit in there better. So I'll hot glue them level and then go back with epoxy fillets to really put them on. All right, that was pretty interesting trying to get these level on 2 axes by myself, but they turned out pretty good. The shafts for both the Windvane pole and the anchor light tower have to be thickened up a bit to fit into their housings. So the way I'm going to do that is I've wrapped some masking tape around to make these 2 channels, and I'll put thickened epoxy in there, and then using some stiff paper with some packaging tape on the inside, you can see it's kind of shiny there, I'll wrap it around there and tape it just to make it smooth and level with the tops here. That way these will fit more snugly inside their housings. And this one will rotate on it. Okay, so I'm done with my fillets on these shaft housings, and I'm going to let them cure up, partially cure for about 4 hours, and then come back and fiberglass over everything. And the kind of bearings for this spinning shaft are covered up. This one, this one as well on the anchor light tower. Then I got a fillet there. It's upside down right now, but we're going to fiberglass that as well so that the top stays on tight. All right, it's a couple hours later now, and I've finished attaching my shaft housings. We got carbon fiber strips here and here over the G10 brackets, and here as well. The other one is the same. And then here's my anchor light tower and flagpole. That's the little flagpole housing, which you can see comes out here. And then the anchor light just bolts into that bracket. All right, let's check this bearing for the Windvane shaft. That's pretty nice. Well, I've already moved 3 of these little walls I made for the epoxy. One here, here, and here. I got to take off this one. Not too difficult, but just a little time intensive. And I got to be careful doing this. I already slipped one time the other night. Gave myself a minor cut. Not bad, but just annoying and a little dumb. So I just go around, try to separate it, and then you just have to unravel it. I used some stiff paper as well just to save on tape, which seemed to work just fine. And there we go. Just needs a little cleanup with the utility knife. There we go. And I made these just a bit oversized, so now I'm going to sand them down so that they perfectly fit in the shaft housing. All right, so I've sanded the bearing for the Windvane shaft. You can see fits in here perfectly and spins nice and smooth on that smooth PVC. And this is actually upside down. This part will be on the bottom, and I'm going to fill this with epoxy and re-drill it. This is the upper portion of the Windvane, and it's going to attach to the lower part of the Windvane through with a bolt through here. And that way I can take it apart and stow it during trailering. And this is the bolt I turned into kind of a pin to attach the 2 halves of the Windvane. And now I've turned the buoyancy arch upright, so you can see I've sanded these parts so that they perfectly fit in here. And when I launch the boat, I'll just pop this into here, and there's my anchor light tower and flagpole. All right, I'm inside the boat again, and I got some painting to do. I've taped everything off and removed a lot of nuts and washers. You can see here those grab bars, the hinges for the hatch, and taped up the deadlights. There we go, we got a couple coats of white paint on, and I got my little holder for water bottle, binoculars and stuff. And this is for the reefing line. It'll roll up the sail. It'll come through that hole there. Grab bar installed. Look at this nice paint inside the doghouse. And there's the port side. And now I got the main bulkhead all taped off. I'm ready to add this lovely seafoam green paint. Okay, that's the first coat on. It needs one more coat, but here's basically how it's going to look. And right here I'm going to mount an electrical box with a plexiglass door, so I have to make that. But this frame matches this frame and just adds a little bit of color in here. And check this out, this is pretty cool. For the bottom of the Windvane, where it will spin on the deck, I needed a bearing, and longtime friend of the project and Patreon member Mike, the metal fabricator, made this bearing out of Delrin and then the pin out of stainless that'll screw down to the deck. So that should spin very smoothly. All right, now it's time to give these a couple coats of paint. All right, the last thing I'm going to do in this video for the Windvane is cut out the 700 by 40 by 20 millimeter piece that goes here on the plans. I'm going to use this plywood. I have 2 layers of it to get the 20 millimeters. All right, I've got 2 blocks of lead on there weighing it down. They'll eventually be used for keel ballast. Anyway, in a couple hours, I'll come back and shape this a little more. Okay, that's a start. Now I need to add a couple holes for the lead to bolt to, and it'll be oversized so that we can drill with epoxy. And the lead is to counterbalance the weight of the air paddle. All right, looks good, and the next time I mix up some epoxy, I'll fill these up with that. This hole I'm drilling is what's going to allow me to attach the 2 halves of the Windvane together with a pin. This way it can easily be taken apart when trailering the boat on the road. Here's a test fit of the pin I made.
OCSS-093 Sailboat.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. I will continue work on the Windvane self-steering in a few weeks. There'll be a little delay there because tomorrow I'm heading off to Japan to visit family. but we'll get rolling again when I get back. If you enjoy the project and this channel and you want to help support, there's plenty of ways down in the description, like Patreon, and of course a big thank you to all my Patreon members. They get to see videos 24 hours in advance. And there's also the Amazon wish list. And if nothing else, hey, leave a like and friendly comment, and I will see you guys in the next one.
Mr. Morgan, let's make all preparations for getting on the way.
Hey, what's your name, buddy?
Home.
Come and get back to your station or I'll have you shot from in here!
Well, shoot something!